Be a routine flight from Denver to Seattle, nothing special, just 3 hours in the sky. Among the 112 passengers on board Flight 327 was 17-year-old Emily Rivera, a quiet girl from Colorado Springs. She sat in seat 12A beside her younger brother Noah, a 10-year-old aviation enthusiast who had memorized every Boeing 737 model by heart. The sun was setting as the plane climbed to 18,000 feet, painting the clouds a glowing orange. Emily had been listening to music when the first jolt hit. At first, she thought it was turbulence. But then came a second, sharper shake. The flight attendant stopped moving. The hum of the engines changed pitch, and that's when the captain's trembling voice crackled over the speakers. "Ladies and gentlemen, we're experiencing a critical systems failure. Please remain calm." Calm was the last thing anyone felt. A quiet panic spread across the cabin like a wave. Oxygen masks didn't fall. The pressurization was still intact, but people were crying, gripping the seats, whispering prayers. Emily's heart raced as she grabbed Noah's hand. "We're okay," she lied, her voice shaking. Up front, the cockpit door remained closed, but a flight attendant, pale and white, had whispered frantically to another. "They've lost control. He said he can't steer." The plane was leveling out, but not descending. It was stuck, drifting, or worse. Emily's mind raced. She wasn't a pilot, but Noah was obsessed with flight simulators and aircraft manuals. She looked at him. "What would you do?" she asked quietly. Noah looked back with tear-filled eyes. "If it's a hydraulic failure, they can't control the rudder. It's like flying with no legs." Emily didn't know what pushed her out of her seat, adrenaline, instinct, or something deeper, but she stood up. The attendants tried to stop her. "Please, ma'am, sit down. I need to speak to the captain," she demanded. There was something in her tone that made people move. She walked straight to the front, where a female attendant finally stepped aside and opened the cockpit door. Inside, Captain Reeves sat slumped over the controls, drenched in sweat, co-pilot unconscious beside him. The cockpit was filled with warning alarms and flashing lights. "You can't be in here," he barked. Emily ignored him. "Are we going down?" she asked. The captain didn't answer. He just looked at her and whispered, "I've lost control. Autopilot's dead. I've sent a mayday. We're flying blind." And then, shocking even himself, he added, "Unless you know how to save a plane, there's nothing left to do." Emily stood frozen. Then, a voice behind her said quietly, I do." It was Noah. He had followed her up. Before anyone could argue, he stepped into the cockpit and sat in the jump seat. "This is a 737 to 800, he said confidently, scanning the controls. "What did you lose?" The captain looked stunned. "Primary hydraulics, elevators sluggish, rudders dead." Noah nodded, trembling but focused. "Then we need manual trim. And spoilers to steer." Emily looked at the captain. "Let him try." "You've already given up." There was a moment of silence. Then the captain slid his seat back and said, "All right, kid, let's see what you've got." Noah's hands hovered over the controls, his memory of hundreds of simulator hours rushing forward. Emily stood behind him, hand on his shoulder. "You've got this," she whispered. "You're not just playing a game now. You're going to save lives." With the captain monitoring closely, Noah directed Emily to assist with the overhead switches. "Set manual trim to full control. Disable autopilot backup." The alarms stopped. The plane was steadying ever so slightly. "Altitude is stable, but we need to descend right?" Emily asked. "Yeah, we're too high and losing airspeed." The captain looked at Noah. "You know there's no guarantee this works." Noah nodded. "I know, but trying is better than crashing." Word spread quickly through the cabin. A kid was flying the plane. Some passengers panicked more, but most were too scared to question it. In the back, an old veteran prayed. A mother kissed her baby's forehead. A man quietly filmed on his phone, whispering, "I think we're being saved by a teenager." Time slowed. The cabin lights dimmed. The horizon tilted slightly, and the descent began. Emergency response had already been alerted. ATC out of Portland was trying to guide the plane. "Flight 327, do you read?" Noah, nervous but steady, answered through the headset. "This is passenger Noah Rivera. We have limited control. Request emergency landing guidance." There was a long pause. Then, "Copy that, Noah. You're doing great. Begin descent to 10,000. Turn heading 220 if you can." Emily watched her brother nod and begin slow trim adjustments. "Spoilers, now," he whispered. The captain leaned over and helped with throttle control. Slowly, the plane responded. "We're turning," Emily whispered. "It's working." In the cabin, passengers could feel the shift. People cried, laughed, hugged, strangers. Even the skeptical flight attendants sat in stunned silence. They weren't out of danger yet, but hope had entered the cockpit. 15 minutes later, the airport lights came into view. Portland International had cleared all runways. Fire trucks lined the tarmac. Emergency crews waited, ready for anything. "Landing gear," Noah asked. "Manual drop," the captain said. "Emily, that lever." She reached up and yanked it. A loud clunk followed. "Gears down." The captain confirmed. Flaps 20. The plane was gliding lower and lower. Alarms blared again. Stall warning. Too slow, Noah shouted. The captain pushed the throttles. The plane jerked forward. We've got it. With shaky hands, Noah guided the plane toward the runway. The nose tilted just right. The wheels kissed the ground. A massive bounce. Then contact. Screeching metal. Smoke. Everyone braced. Then ... silence. The plane had stopped. Emergency lights flashed outside, and for a moment, no one inside moved. The door burst open. EMTs and fire crews flooded in. Passengers broke into sobs. A few even clapped. Emily hugged Noah so tight he almost couldn't breathe. The captain stepped out of the cockpit, looked around, and announced, "This plane landed because of that kid right there." Cameras were already rolling. Within minutes, news had spread nationwide. Teen boy saves doomed flight. Girl refuses to let brother quit. The FAA launched a full investigation, but even they were stunned. "We've never seen anything like it," one agent said. "He flew like he was born in a cockpit." Emily and Noah were taken in for questioning, but all anyone could say was thank you. No injuries, no fatalities. A miracle at 18,000 feet. Days later, the Rivera family appeared on national television. Interviews poured in. Sponsors offered scholarships. Boeing invited Noah for a simulator session at their Seattle HQ. Emily was quieter, but when asked what made her stand up, she simply said, "I trusted my brother, and I wasn't going to let fear decide for us." The internet lit up with praise. Hashtags like #Flight327Miracle, #Hero, Brother, and #EmilyDidn't. Sit down trended worldwide. People sent letters from all over the globe, thanking them for proving that courage doesn't come with a title, it comes with heart. The captain, once criticized for freezing under pressure, later wrote a public letter of gratitude to both teens. "In my darkest hour, they lit the sky," he wrote. Months later, as life slowly returned to normal, Noah was accepted into a special FAA youth training program. Emily began writing about the experience, turning trauma into purpose. Flight 327 became a case study in aviation schools. But beyond procedures and systems, it reminded the world of something far more powerful. When all seems lost, the right voice, even from someone young, can rise above fear and guide others home. At 18,000 feet, where logic failed and systems crashed, it wasn't a pilot who saved the day. It was a sister who believed and a boy who refused to give up.